Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another rant video. This is not going to be like an urgent video, but it's to share my thoughts of the situation and explain how this could have been handled and explain the possibilities or like the cycle that's going on within this world. But I'm just going to get straight to the point. So I just looked up this video. Someone requested that I check it out. So apparently this teacher happens, I don't know if he's a supply teacher, but apparently he's getting bullied by the students. But I feel like he is a supply teacher because that's how when I notice with these students is that they usually treat the supply teachers completely different from their regular teachers because they feel like they can get around it and they can make it seem like as if the supply teacher is just trying to get them in trouble, or I'm not even exaggerating. No, you'll notice how they treat the supply teachers compared to their original teacher because they feel like they can just do whatever they want if the original teacher isn't there, and then they can make it seem they'll share their side of the story and make it seem like that the supply teacher doesn't know what they're doing. They're not following by the rules that you were suggesting to the students, and that they're making whatever they say up and trying to manipulate the kids and stuff and manipulate teachers as if the students are the ones that are being that are the ones that are misbehaving and not doing exactly what the teacher is telling them. I know I'm going off here, but I'm just gonna get straight to the point. So apparently these kids are bullying him. I'm not too sure why, but apparently he happens to be he's an English teacher. So basically how they're bullying him is that they're teasing him. So the students, I'm guessing, are pretending that they don't know how to spell. He's calling out one of the students. He's asking one of the students if they could read what's on the board or if they can spell what's on the board. And then this guy has like he's having like a mental rage, like he's having like some sort of fit, like he's having a mental breakdown because he's like, I quit this job. I'm tired of listening to you students and you disrupting my class. And I want you to be respectful. But if you think, though, I feel like what also came into play is also you have to think of the salary that these teachers are getting. They're not getting paid enough to actually teach delinquents or handle kids. So for them, they actually vent their anger towards these kids because of the experience and the type of job that they're given, even though it's their job to be respectful towards the students, to make sure, yeah, you can be angry. That several teachers have been angry about, especially from my experience. Almost literally every year, you always have an angry teacher. Like there's teachers that have always been angry. But there are times, but there, it's unfortunate. There are a lot of kids that ruin it for others. There are cool teachers out there, and there are students there. You may not believe this, but you have to agree with me on this one. There are students out there that will mess up even the cool teachers. They'll give them a hard time, even though yeah, the teacher isn't always right. But there you also have those cool teachers that actually want to adjust with the students, that are willing to adapt with their students, and there are a lot of kids that like them, but then you have others that ruin it, and then sometimes they end up losing their job, or they end up getting replaced by a new teacher because of the several complaints that they've been getting, or because that one student was the cause. And then that get also, and then you know what happened? No, yeah, I'm not lying about this one, but you'll have even the class will be willing to turn on the kid if they lose a cool teacher over a boring teacher, over a more strict and more heinous, I'm not going to exaggerate, not heinous, a more like redundant, like aggressive, hostile, or more ignorant type of teacher, even if they, or yeah, you could say aggressive type of teacher. There are times they're not even aggressive, they're very arrogant. So yeah, this on their class that has, there's that one kid that ruins it for everybody else, And they realize now that the cool teacher's gone, they're gonna most likely gonna end up with an arrogant teacher, because it's hard finding cool teachers these days. Because we can I can guarantee you a lot of teachers, the majority don't like their jobs, but it all depends on who's teaching. Like, depends how you treat them. Regardless, it could be the teachers, it could be the students, it could be their personal life, whatever. But yeah, honestly, like, for him to quit his job, hopefully he didn't become aggressive with the students. He didn't get physical, and that's one thing you have to do as a teacher. It is your job not to get physical with the students, because yeah, that's reason enough for you to get fired. You can decide to quit your job, but I'm sure if he said he quit, maybe he would have lashed out at one of the students and decided to get physical with them. But like, I understand the students. I'm not gonna lie, some students tend to be like complete assholes, or just full of themselves, or just mainly the majority of them just tend to be literally delinquents. Especially not even in school. Like when you go to the mall, you see a crowd of them. They get very loud, obnoxious. Like, and I'm not trying to sound judgmental, I'm not trying to sound judgmental. I'm being honest from experience. They don't have to be at school. They can be at the mall, and they act the way they do at the mall, just like they do in school. I'm not even bullshitting. But like, how to adjust with these students, I feel like, again, to be real, I don't want to sound like judgmental. I feel like, to be honest, a lot of it has to do with the home. A lot has to do with what goes on in their household, at home, or they just fit in with the wrong crowd because they want to be accepted, and that's the world we live in, honestly. But for this teacher, like, yeah, the thing is, when people do have a mental breakdown, they do tend to lash out, and sometimes they do get physical. Because I didn't see the entirety of the video, but I just hope, again, maybe because now he's going to quit his job, since he decided he was going to quit his job. That doesn't give him reason to actually attack one of the students, because it did look like they were teasing him simply because they were pretending to. It didn't sound like they didn't know how to spell, or they don't know how to pronounce words. It looked like they were just simply teasing him because maybe they thought he was just a boring teacher, or they didn't find him amusing. Whatever the case is, like, I'm just listening to the video. It looked like they were just simply teasing. Like, I don't know the full, like, whole story. I don't know the entirety of the situation. I don't know what's going on between him and the students. But yeah, even whether, like, there's sometimes I do find annoying, I'll be honest, when the teacher does get angry. Even because sometimes it's not even they're like, a lot of times they're angry. Sometimes them being angry is unnecessary, because it all depends. Like, sometimes I do agree with the students. Sometimes they say that the teachers do get angry at the littlest of things, especially something that isn't entirely a big deal. Like, when something that could just be handled a lot easier, a lot better, had the teachers been more outspoken and been more wise about it. Sometimes being angry and screaming at the students is not the way to go about it, because if anything, it's actually gonna be bad for your reputation as a teacher. And then when they hear complaints and they hear rumors, and then word gets out, maybe the staff, the principal is gonna decide you. Maybe this is the job for you. Maybe we're gonna have no choice but to let you go, because we're hearing rumors that you can't seem to follow the rules. Even if the students have to follow the rules too, but it doesn't seem like you can't seem to like adapt with your students. You can't seem to like have some quality time, just be able to talk and reason with them. You have to be able to reason with students at this time, even for angry. The only time I say, yeah, the best time, or the only reason you could get angry, unless it is something really serious. But I know for I'm not being real. I'm being serious though. I know for a fact from my experience there are a lot of teachers, they get angry for the littlest and smallest reasons, even though it's not even supposedly a big deal. Yet they decide to escalate it with their voice. They want to shout, they want to scream, they want to blame the students, and I feel those are the teachers that those are most likely the teachers that students tend to want to look out for. Not look out for in a good way, I mean in a bad way. They don't it gives them a perspective how they truly feel about teachers, that these teachers are just very condescending. They're very arrogant. They think only about themselves. They always think, and it's true. One thing you'll hear about what the students say, they believe that the teachers always think they're right, and they always think the students are wrong just because they're older, they have a job, they may have their high school, like college, like diploma, whatever, their college degree. But that's just how that's a cycle, to be real, honestly. And it's true though, but like, yes, teachers have a perspective of the students, but you also have to realize that their students have perspective, an entire perspective of how they feel about teachers, because of those other teachers that tend to yell and scream, and they think there may not be all of them, but they're gonna think that they're gonna explain they're gonna let their friends know, they're gonna explain to their other classmates, let them know how they truly feel, that this is how the majority of teachers act. This is their true colors, their true nature when coming to school, because they feel like, what, these students are like, they even think themselves, why are you even coming to class if I'm gonna be dealing with a hostile teacher? One that is very arrogant, that thinks only of themselves, that always thinks they're right, and that belittles the students just because they feel that we're younger, that we don't know better. And again, like I said this before, this is the cycle. And in order for people really want there to be a change, you just don't believe in stereotypes, and just find the right teacher. If you notice there's a teacher who you're really cool with, make sure, I would say, this is gonna be my final thoughts. This is gonna be my advice. Let those other your all your classmates, remind your classmates, just give them some advice, tell them to try to adjust with the teacher, because you can tell that you don't have an issue with them, that you know them. You may don't know them personally, but you can be honest and say that I honestly really think he's a cool teacher, he or she. He doesn't seem to treat us like shit. He seems to respect us, and then he treats us like as if we earned it, and he's willing to cooperate with us. So I think it's best if the entire class is willing to treat the teacher like everybody else. Let's be humble, let's be trustworthy, let's be respectful, and so we can earn the same thing in return. And that is sometimes one thing, I don't know if this is really true, but you rarely, and again, even though I said this is my final thoughts, you rarely see other students trying to give advice to their classmates and how to adjust with their teacher. And I feel that's the best way to handle things. And that will be something new. That will inspire the teacher. It will inspire the students. What I mean inspire is that it'll give reason enough for this cycle for them to actually break the cycle that I'm talking about. And it gives reason for now that teachers, and it gives reason for teachers to actually trust the students and let them have a say in the class, and be able to let them correct the teacher, and it'll actually help the teacher make them figure out what they're doing wrong, and then they can ask the students for advice if there's any mistakes that I made that I can improve on. And then on top of that, they'll be willing to help the students further their high school career, whether it's middle school, high school, and that gives reason for students to actually make something of themselves, be able to find their own career in life, and be able to adapt in the school environment, where now they realize the teachers are seeing what the students are doing wrong, what the students are seeing the teachers that are doing wrong, and now they can figure, now they have to trust one another, and they can own up to their mistakes. And I feel like that's the best way to handle things, to avoid this type of drama. And maybe this drama will continue. You'll have incidents like this, because drama happens everywhere, let's be real, honestly. But I feel like my advice, again, I'm going to repeat it again so for the people to understand, is I feel like it's because we rarely see this. Again, I feel it's best that you have other students that are willing to give advice throughout the class, and for all the classmates that are that are existent, that are in the room, for them to understand that it's best to treat your teachers with respect and care. For those that they wonder and they realize that these are one of the teachers that we can trust, the cool teachers. Because they just simply trying to fit in, and we feel that we should try to make them feel that they are part of the classroom, and that we can all try to understand one another, and then that way we can see who's right and wrong and we can correct one another. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications. Comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.